All right, today is a good day. We are going to be a little bit classier than normal. We are going to talk about a 1965 Jaguar Mark II. Let's do it. Enjoy these classic car videos, and if you do, then you should press the subscribe button, which I feel like it's down this way. I don't know. And if you press the subscribe button, also be sure to click on the bell icon, because that will notify you of every time that I post an annoying car video. Ah! All right, now we are going to get to talking about the Mark II, but prior to that, we are going to talk all about Jaguar history, because, you know, that's my thing. Now, Jaguar all started with two Bills. You have William Walmsley and you have William Lyons, and they are living on the same street in Blackpool, England. They're buddies. They're motorcycle enthusiasts. And at the time, they start a company called Swallow Sidecars, and they are building some pretty classy, neat-looking sidecars that have a lot of public demand. So Swallow Sidecar Company is doing great, all right? Doing great enough that they decide to make their own vehicles, and they soon become SS Cars. Now, all right, so Swallow Sidecar Company is doing excellent. People want their motorcycles, they want their sidecars, and soon they are gonna want their cars, which was always the end goal, was to start manufacturing cars, okay? So then they began SS Cars. Obviously that stood for Swallow Sidecars, right? At this point, things are going great for Swallow Sidecar Company, and then their offshoot of car manufacturing, SS Cars. Then, unfortunately for literally everybody on the globe, World War II starts, okay? And that is not fun. They stop all their car manufacturing, and obviously they put their efforts towards the war. Then, after World War II, you can imagine the connotations behind SS weren't that great, all right? People didn't have any time for any more Nazi bullshit, frankly. It didn't take a rocket scientist to say, hey, maybe having a company named SS Car Company isn't a good idea, okay? So the bigwigs of soon-to-be Jaguar got together in March of 1945 and said, well, what should we change our name to, because we really can't leave it at SS Cars? And they decided upon Jaguar. Now, Jaguar had been a prior model, like range of models in SS Car Company, so it was kind of probably in the back of their mind as a choice. All right, now the war is over. The SS Car Company has now become Jaguar Cars Limited, and it is time for William Lyons to show off the engine that he has been working on during World War II. All right, yes, the car manufacturing was shut down and they were focusing on whatever they were building for the war effort, but Lyons was still working on his new engine, the XK engine, which would be featured in the XK120. Now, the XK120 was just supposed to be a prototype. Yeah, it was supposed to showcase this brand new engine at the 1948 Earl's Court Motor Show, but little did Lyons know that it was going to be such a sensation that he would have to start mass producing it. And then that same XK engine would find itself in the Mark I, which was the predecessor to the Mark II. Now, fun fact, the XK engine would be used until the 1980s in some of the Jaguar models. That's a wild length of time period for an engine to be used. Confront the elephant in the room, okay? I'm saying Jaguar, all right? That's how I've said it since I was a kid, and I'm gonna continue saying it. I know that you're supposed to properly pronounce it Jaguar, but I'm from South Texas, and I'm not gonna change it. Now, originally, this had the 3.8 liter XK6 engine in it, okay? And that was the preferred, that was the fastest one, because they had a 2.4, they had a 3.4, and then they had the 3.8, okay? Hope I got all that right. Now, it has since been converted. It now is powered by a Chevy 327. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the changes that happened between the Mark I and the Mark II, okay? So there was a repositioning of fog lights. Then we also had a few, just a little bit of a, I hesitate to say refinement of the grille, but it kind of looks more refined, let's be honest. The grille changed slightly. And then you would have 18% more visibility through the cabin glass, which that means a lot, really. Now, also in popularity, the Mark II would really outshine its predecessor, the Mark I. It's actually quite interesting. The Jaguar Mark II was the most successful Jaguar ever until 1968, when the Jaguar XJ6 came onto the scene. Now, also a fun Mark II fact is that this was such a popular style, as I've already mentioned, that it was also marketed as a Daimler, okay, as the Daimler 2.5, and it had a Daimler V8 engine, not a Jaguar engine, and it was manufactured from 1962 to 1969. How interesting is that? All right, so as usual, the typical refinement that you would expect in a Jaguar interior, right? Don't mind this. Obviously, this car is in the shop and we are working on it, and I appreciate the owner for allowing me to make a video about it. So I believe this is a wood veneer. Usually it was burled all walnut, but I don't know if this is burled walnut. It could be. I'm not too sure. All right. Now, interesting thing about the instrument panel is that it would be continued to be used. This design would be continued to be used until 1973 and also in the XJ models. So kind of neat. They kept it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Beautiful, lush interior. This blue is great. Just the, you know, you expect refinement in a Jaguar, especially an old vintage Jaguar, and woohoo, do you get it? It is beautiful in here. When I think about the exterior of some of these early Jaguars, you know, this is one of those, the design, the aesthetics are really a refined and yet romantic line with each vehicle. Now, I really feel like the Mark II encompasses the slogan that Lions came up with for it, okay? Which is grace, space, and pace. Because I think the first 2 years that the Mark II came out, it was actually one of the fastest mass production vehicles of the time, for 2 years of its initial production. Since we're on the topic of pace, this was a fast car, as I mentioned. Now, this car was so admired by its performance that it became quickly a favored getaway car for mobsters and gangsters and bank robbers. Isn't that wild, right? And then on the entire other end of the spectrum, it was also a very popular vehicle, the Mark II, for police officers. Now, the styling of the Mark II was so popular that they actually, and this is a fun fact, they actually had a Japanese car manufacturer called Mitsubishi come out with a very similar but clearly not as authentic vehicle called the Viuta. I'm not pronouncing that right. I'm not pronouncing Mitsubishi or Viute right at all. But now you know. All right, well, if you enjoyed this video about the Jaguar Mark II, well then please say something nice in the below comment lines. If you didn't enjoy it, keep it to yourself. If you have a Jaguar fact that you want to share, obviously write it down. You know I love those. If you have a Jaguar, tell me what kind of Jaguar you have. Comment on it. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe, which I actually think might be down this way. I think I pointed that way earlier. Doesn't really matter. And also hit the little bell icon so that you can be notified when I post another video. I hope you had fun, because obviously I always do, and we will see you next time. Cheers!